Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'd had a couple requests to see my kitchen tour because I did like the budget makeover and I got the video all filmed. I'm starting to upload and edit and I realized I never did an intro. So this is me in my pajamas because I realized I need an intro like now. So anyways, I'm just going to give you like a quick rundown of what I did and then I will include the footage of like the tour of it. So it started basically when quarantine started. I wanted to be busy because I don't like to just sit around. So I decided I would paint my kitchen cabinets, and it was just going to be that. I was going to be fine with that, but then I was like, you know what? I'm home and I have time to do things and to tackle these projects. So then I just went kind of gung-ho and did it all. So all said and done, it was a little under 400. And that's not including a dishwasher, which happened like to break in between me painting the cabinets and the point that we actually got the counter. It just stopped getting water. I'm not going to go into like huge details, but I replaced two different parts. I replaced the inlet valve and I replaced the float part of it. And it wasn't either of those. It was something in the computer, and my knowledge doesn't go that far. Like technical stuff, I can look up the other things and like work my way through it. To save like a visit of somebody coming to fix it. But it was the computer part. Something was wrong in there. So we ended up needing a new one. So we ended up buying like the same look, same size, like same brand, everything, but like the newer version of it. So it was pretty much just like a swap out. It was easy enough to change it. So we did save, at least we didn't need anybody to install that. But I didn't include that in the price because that was like one of those things like where if your washer or dryer breaks, you need a new one. If your fridge breaks, you need a new one. So I'm just talking like specifically the aesthetic part, the pretty stuff that I did. So the biggest expense was the countertop, and I picked that up from Lowe's. We ended up paying like $150-ish for that, and we saved on that because of the massive disaster that was Lowe's shipping. So we got it, and I talk more about this in the video. We ordered it and had it to be delivered, and they just lied, continually lied. Said that it was on the truck, and then when you would call, they would say it's on the truck, and they'll definitely call you back, and it's coming today. And this went on for like a month and a half. We finally got it, but because of everything we went through, we did end up saving at least on the delivery. So the counter came in around $150. The tiles, which I put on the backsplash, they're stick tiles. They were between $100 and $120. I had some left over because I did order extra just in case. I put up a few picture lead shelves, which you'll see, those were from IKEA. They ended up being like $50 after shipping. And then I had 2 gallons of paint, both Behr, and I talk about that in the video, and I'll also include anything that I used. I'll try and link products if I can. And then if not, I'll try and at least just put what it is so you could find it in your store, maybe in person. So that's it for this little intro part. I hope you guys enjoy the kitchen tour. Okay, so let's head into my kitchen. I can show you what's new, what stayed the same. Unfortunately, the weather is kind of rainy today. I was hoping for a sunny day to film this, but this is what I got. So I'm going to start here with the counter area because this is mainly the new stuff. So the first thing I did for the whole makeover is paint. And my first thing was the cabinets. So I'm just going to take you up closer to them. And I just painted these. I used Behr paint for everything in this kitchen, and I will mention the colors as I go. So this is just a Behr semi-gloss, and this is just the white as it comes off the shelf without any pigment mixed in. And basically all I did with these guys, I cleaned them up really good just to make sure there's no grease or anything on them. And then I went over them with a light sandpaper and then wiped them down again. And then I used a tiny foam roller for these type sections. This I had to get in with a brush. And I ended up doing, I think, like 2 coats. But basically they were white before, they just needed a refresh because some of them were starting to get wear like here. And I love chippy furniture and things like that, but for me, I want my cabinets stark white. That way I can know when there's stuff on them and they need to be cleaned, like deep cleaned. So we've got all those cabinets painted. I did end up replacing the dishwasher, and that was out of necessity. It was basically the same exact one before, but it had been there I think 5 or 6 years and it had stopped working. And I replaced a couple of parts, but I was starting to get to the point where the parts I was buying would equal a good chunk of a new one. So I ended up replacing that before we did any of the counters or things. Now, I think one of my favorite parts is probably the backsplash, and I'm going to show that to you guys now. I have some of them out here on the counter to show you. So these are the smart tiles, and the one I chose with the Metro Campagnola, and that's the white tile with the gray grout. And I ended up spending somewhere between $100 and $120 on this whole backsplash. And I had a couple extra. What I did is I measured and then I added 10% kind of in case I made the errors around like the cutting and stuff. So let me take you down here where I don't have as much stuff in front of it. So basically, these are just peel and stick tiles, and I'm showing you this here. You can see how thin it is. Now, there's a couple reasons why I enjoy this. So obviously, the first reason was because I have a lot of trim like this, and I didn't want to have to pull window trim off and try and deal with that, because a ceramic or a porcelain tile, any of those are going to have more depth. So this worked awesome for that. And then the second thing, honestly, is I have grouted a bathroom floor, and grouting is messy and time consuming. And I mean, when it's done, it's worth it, but this is done for you and it looks perfect. And yeah, I would recommend these. These worked really well for me. So let me just get in closer here. You can see how this edge here, it's marked overlap and it's a little thicker as opposed to this. So you can work from right to left or left to right depending on whether you orient it like that or that. I worked left to right just because that's what worked better for my brain. So my tiles would be like this. I cut the first one like that to be flush against the wall in the corner. And then where these parts are, this is the part that takes the most time. Now I did have lines on my wall I drew on with a level so that I would have straight markers, but what happens is these parts here, you'd have to take your time to overlap them because that is where it's going to go wrong if something goes wrong and it looks fake. So that did take some time, but I'm going to get in here and show you. You can see these are where I did like the overlap lines. If you look really close, you can see it. But overall, on a glance, you can't. And that's what I was going for. So I ended up purchasing these from Home Depot because I had a coupon for like 20% off of something. But you can get them through the website itself. It's called thesmarttiles.com, and I'm not sponsored or anything. I just did a lot of research, and these seem to me like the ones that got the best reviews. So that is what I went with for that. And now the countertop. So I have been stalking this countertop, or a countertop like it, probably for a year and a half now. I saw a blogger do a laminate countertop that looked like marble, and I fell in love with it. My heart was set on it. If I can find the blog, I'll link that below, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So my issue was I have only one section of countertop here, but it's long enough that the sections that they did have in stock wouldn't fit. So it comes in, countertops seem to come in 4, 6, and 10-foot sections, and I needed the 10-foot. And they never had a 10-foot like marble look in stock. So eventually I found it on Lowe's at a store that was within like mileage that they would ship to me or like bring it by truck. That is a whole other story. So if you can get it, if you can pick it up on your own or rent a truck or something, I'd highly recommend that because I was not happy with the Lowe's delivery process. It took way too long, and I understand it was a pandemic and that was fine, but they didn't call, they lied on the phone and they said it's on the truck, it's coming today, and it was really like a month later that it showed up. So I just had a lot of headache with that, but it made it eventually. So we'll just go in closer. I like this one because it had like a lot of movement through it, but it wasn't sparkly and glittery. So it's just pretty easy, laid back looking, and then with the tiles, I think it goes really well. Kept the same sink. My goal would be eventually to have one that doesn't have the middle divider, just like one tub. That would be great. But for now, this is perfect. What This is my plant window. That is all the same except I made that shelf. But I mean, this isn't really part of what I did. I did paint all the walls, and the walls were all painted bistro white, and I got that mixed in Behr paint. It's actually a valspar color, but I prefer the Behr formula. So everything is bistro white. The cabinets are just plain white, same as all the trim in the house. And now let me just take you around and show you this stuff. So this didn't change. This is my little cutting board area. Over here is a coffee bar. This is one of the newer additions that I put in. And this is just the propagation wall. So I had, I think, like a gallery wall at one point, and then most recently I had 6 like botanical artwork that I would change out with the seasons. So it would be like pine in the winter, and in the summer it would be more of a floral botanical. But I just thought this was fun because it can always be changing. And these are just a picture ledge from IKEA. I think maybe $15 a piece, so I think this was about $45 of the budget. But these are really great. And then the thing is that if I wanted to, I could also lean like artwork or pictures or little collectibles instead of plants too. So it gives me a lot of room to play around with that. Over here, my apron wall. Right now, this is all kind of empty because I'm getting ready to decorate. That was there when we moved in, so ignore that. Getting ready to decorate for fall, so I took down all the summer aprons, took anything extremely summery off those shelves, and I'm kind of living with it blank for a week or two until I bring out my fall stuff to kind of know what I want to do. So that is that. Over in this section, it is really bright there because my grow light is on right now. This stuff's all the same. Fridge, stove, that's gonna drive me crazy. This is what I picked up at the end of the whole kind of makeover. I wanted to get a new towel. This is from Pioneer Woman, and let me get in close so you can see the detail on this. This is embroidered. I mean, it looks embroidered, I don't know. I'm sure it's machine done at this, you know, at Walmart, but this is really cute. So this looks like it's hand stitched, and then this is also embroidered on. And I just kind of thought that was a neat touch. And then, yeah, like I said, all that's the same. The door, I did make some changes on this. So obviously I freshened up all the white paint when I was doing the cabinets and the trim. But I thought that this needed some updating because everything was just so stark white that I wanted to paint, I believe they're called muntins. I wanted to paint the muntins a black color. So I used what I had on hand. I didn't spend any money on this paint. This is like a forest black, which is also a Behr paint, but it's a black with some dark green mixed in. And I know the camera's not really gonna pick it up, but it makes it just a little bit softer than a traditional like straight up black color. So I thought that was kind of fun. I'm still figuring out what to do about this. I mean, this is just like a cheap IKEA one that I've had here forever. And the thing is, I want to be able to see out that window because that lets in a lot of light. So I might just end up keeping that. I was trying to think if I should do a sheer. I honestly liked it without the curtain, but I do want some privacy, and that provides just a little bit. So, I mean, right now, that's what we're going with. And then the last thing, the island. I didn't make any major changes on the island, just did a fresh coat of paint, same as the cabinets. So this is, it was a dresser that I found on, I think it was Craigslist, either Craigslist or FreeCycle or one of those type things. So just a dresser that I found on there. I repainted it. It had the top already, which is what made me start thinking how cool this would be as an island because it's almost like butcher block. And then all I did to make this island worthy is I just added some beadboard to the back because it wasn't finished. So beadboard, and then just some trim pieces. And this has been here for about 2 years, so that's not new. And then the last thing, oh, this little plant over here. He's in quarantine right now because I found scale on him. So normally I would do something else here because there's no light except from the sky or the ceiling. Not like any sunlight. I would do like a picture with flowers or a pumpkin or something seasonal or kind of fun just off to the side so that it's kind of like personal and fun, but you still have all the workspace you need. So let me spin you back around. I'm trying to go slow so I don't get you dizzy. because I want to just kind of have this be the end screen. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I did on a budget. It was just a nice thing to kind of keep me busy while I was inside the house and get like a part of my house refreshed and just kind of feel nice and light and airy. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this, and I'll see you in the next video.